Hi there, this is James Tripp speaking. I'm up on a rooftop in Malta, so I don't know how this recording is going to come out. You can see the surroundings around here. I've just come up here because I want to share what I think is an important idea with you. And it's to do with living on purpose, living with purpose, about developing purpose in life, but also having that work in accord with the natural order of things. Now, many years ago, I used to teach Tai Chi. In fact, I suppose really learning Tai Chi was one of my first steps in really developing and transforming myself, one of my first steps. And I learned a lot through Tai Chi about Taoism. It's a philosophical perspective from ancient China, and it's got a concept within it, a huge concept. It's got the concept that the Tao is the way of things, and that really to live a fruitful, productive, fulfilling life, you need to live in accordance with the Tao, in accordance with the natural order of things. If you're struggling, if you're always trying to go against the grain in life, you never really get much fulfillment. Not a lot happens that's good. But this is very much at odds with how we tend to do things here in the West. How we tend to do things here in the West is that, look at this landscape. Look at all these buildings. Look at these shapes. They're all blocky. They're all rectangular. But look at the hills on which they sit. The hills on which they sit are organically shaped. They're curved. There's a natural order of things. But we have this tendency to want to, this is human beings in general. This is not going to be just here in the West. But we have this tendency to want to impose a different form on the natural order of things. And I think here in the West it's much, much more prevalent. In the East, yes, it's going to be there too to a certain degree, but there's this recognition of it deep in the philosophy of Taoism, that there is a natural way of things, and that we want to really go with this rather than go against it. So, yeah, we can go with the flow, right? We can chill out, we can just slide and have a good time. But what then happens to all the wonderful things that we want to create in life? Because for me, for a long time, this seemed to jar, this seemed to be at odds. At one point in my life, I was a assistant project manager. So I'd work on big projects within local government, implementing IT, implementing communication solutions, this kind of thing. And the idea there was very much to get your project clear. You wanted to scope it out, get very, very clear about what you wanted to deliver, and then put this project plan in place. Stay focused, stay on task. It was all about doing, applying these doings to get things done and have things yield and have things happen so that the purpose would manifest. But the interesting thing about these projects is they always ran over budget and they always ran over time, and very, very rarely did they actually successfully deliver what they were supposed to deliver. All this effort to just try and impose particular structures and particular wills on things in order to make things happen just didn't seem to kind of work out. But it all made sense, right? What's more sensible, what's more logical or intelligent than getting clear about what you want and clear about the actions you need to take to make that happen? It makes sense. We all want to do it, and we want to do it intuitively. But in Taoism, they have this concept called Wu Wei, which is doing without doing. It's about letting go and allowing things to manifest. And it's a great idea. Now, when I was learning Tai Chi, this made sense. Somebody would attack and you would just flow, and you would allow yourself to join with their force, with their energy, and lead it to a different conclusion. And it was kind of like, yeah, that makes sense in that context. But for a long time, it didn't make sense to me in life. How could I reconcile these two things? Doing without doing, going with the natural order of things, and yet at the same time having purpose, being a creator, wanting to manifest things in the world, to create things into the world. How do these two things come together? Well, the problem within that, the apparent problem, isn't really a problem at all. It's a problem of how we tend to organize in our minds. Very much in the West, we tend to see ourselves as being separate from nature, separate from the rest of the world, separate from the Tao, so to speak. We perceive ourselves as being separate. So we might think, yeah, there's the natural order of things, and there I am, and I want to create something into the world. And of course, that thing isn't part of the natural order of things because it doesn't exist in the natural world. So I want to create it. So by creating it, I must be going against the natural order of things. But this only comes about through this illusion of separateness, this illusion that we are somehow not a part of the natural order of things. Now, when you dissolve that away and you recognize that you are a part of the natural order of things, that you are a part of the Tao, so as when you set your purpose becomes clear in your mind. When you clear everything out the way that might get in the way of that purpose, you just express it. Because you are part of the Tao, the purpose will naturally express itself through your action. I'm not talking about the law of attraction here. You'll sit there navel gazing while the universe provides. You will take action, but the action emerges from the purpose, because the purpose, as it arises, as it emerges itself, is part of the natural order of things. It's not separate from. It's a part of the Tao. So, by allowing yourself to connect back into the natural order of things, you can start to become very creative, very productive through implementing the concept of Wu Wei, doing without doing. Your purpose emerges, you remove everything that goes against the grain and you go with the grain, and the grain is for action to emerge that realizes the purpose. But most of the time we don't do this. We actually place things in between ourselves and the thing that we want to see happen in the world. We do this with standard approaches to project management, classic approaches to project management. I say classic approaches. If you look at modern project management, they use Gantt charts, and Gantt charts aren't that old. They've been around for, I don't know, maybe 80 years. I think it was the guy that was the project manager on the Hoover Dam, I believe, I could be wrong about that came up with the concept of the Gantt chart. And this is a chart that linearly stacks out through time all of the actions that need to happen in order to yield the project. Essentially, it's stacking all these tasks in the way in between the now and the project existing. Now, really, you can't stack stuff out into the future like that without stacking stuff on top of yourself. I'm going to share a quote from David Brent in The Office, that great philosopher. And he said, "I thought I saw the light at the end of the tunnel, but it was just some bastard with a torch bringing me more work." Now, I love that quote, because that's what it is like when you stack tasks in the way, when you think of all the things that you have to do and you stack them up and you stack them into your future and you stack them on top of yourself, and it oppresses you. It crushes your creativity, it crushes your spontaneity, it crushes your motivation, your natural energy. It crushes everything that would naturally bring that thing into being. It crushes creativity. Now, if you don't do that, if you just clear everything out the way, if you develop a higher level of consciousness, a higher level of awareness for things that get in the way, and you just create space. My coach, Steve Chandler, shared a metaphor with me. I think it's wonderful. You create a space in the forest, you create a clearing in the forest, and you go be in that. Now, if you create space for the thing that you want to, you create time for the thing that you want to manifest, you want to express, Wu Wei, doing without doing, it supports you because you're no longer putting things in the way. I'm making this video now because I'm creating a resource on self-hypnosis, on self-talk, how we speak our reality, how the conversations we have with ourselves, how the conversations we have with the world around us are hugely formative in terms of the experiences that we have. So I'm aware as I go to create this that I could make it a big project. It could become a huge thing. And as soon as it becomes a big project, as soon as I start thinking about all the logistics of it, mapping them out, planning them out, as soon as the old project manager inside of me tries to come out, it starts to crush the life out of it. And it reduces the likelihood of the thing coming into being because I'm making it into work. I'm now starting to beat, to conquer the way of things with some artificial structuring and delineation. And it kills it. Kills the life in it. makes it a dead thing, it makes it drudgery, it makes it work. So for me, it's about staying away from, clearing out, saying no to the things that will attempt to get in my way. So I'm there thinking, well, how am I going to market this? That's going to stop it getting created. That's something I'm putting in the way. When I take that out the way, I become freer. The more things I remove, the freer I become. The more things you remove, the freer you become. I'm recommending in this video of shifting your approach to life. Yes, get clear on your purposes, iteratively work through and work on your purposes, but allow yourself to move into the space of being a creator, being somebody who can create into your world the things that you want to see, instead of the person who has to work towards things in the future. Okay, so I hope that's useful to you. I hope that's not too abstract, too far out. I hope you get that point. I just want to say you are not separate from the way of things. You are not. When you can stay in a creative space, when you can keep the clutter out of your mind and you can keep the clutter out of your life, you can connect to purpose and you can allow the action that will manifest in realizing that purpose to manifest. And you can go with it and you can flow with it. And you will find that when you do that, your productivity goes up and your ability to bring high levels of energy, of enthusiasm, of creativity to everything that you do. And this makes a difference in life. This makes a difference in life if you want to shape a life that's fulfilling, that's prosperous, and is filled with wonderful experiences and things. Okay, let me know if you make good use of this idea, this concept, this perspective. And if you have any questions about it, you know where you can ask them in the comments section below. Thanks for taking the time to check this out, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon.